Hi guys, welcome back to another episode in the series Conversations with Shelly. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, I am Shelly, and for those of you who are not so unfamiliar, you've been here before, hanging out with me, welcome back. So, this week is a GLP update, and this is actually week 12. So I would have hinted at, you know, in terms of what my update would have been um, from my last video, but I wanted to make it official this week as to what my week 12 update will be, as well as to give you a formal, structured, well, it won't be too structured because I'll be just talking, right? But certainly to give you an idea as to what my week 12 slash 3 months have been on either tirzepatide or Mounjaro branded version. So as you know, I'll just give you a little backdrop as to where we are in terms of my 12-week, 3 months on. So I would have done my first uh, 9 weeks on the branded version. So I would have done 9 weeks complete on Mounjaro, either at the 2.5 milligram dose or at the 5 milligram dose. Now, the first 4 weeks of the 9, I did 2.5 milligram, which is the starter dose, as we, should all be familiar with at this point in time. If you're a part of the GLP-1 community, whether you're taking the meds or you're just interested in taking or considering being a part of the community, the starter dose is 2.5. So I would have spent 4 weeks on the 2.5. I titrated to 5 milligrams of the branded version in the form of Mounjaro. And of course, you know that Mounjaro is the version of tirzepatide that deals specifically with diabetes and diabetic control and management, right? And of course, I'm a type 2 diabetic. Purely DNA related. I inherited it from my lineage. Okay. So that out the way, as I said, I would have done 9 weeks on the branded version. Somewhere along the line, I gave you reasons and rationales as to why I would move into the compounded version, which is now tirzepatide compounded via Mochi Health. And I would have done that between week 9, 10, 11, and now I'm in week 12, right? Or rather week 10, 11, and now I'm week 12. So this would have now been my third week on the compounded version. And I wanted to give you some updates, context as to what has happened over those last 3 weeks. Now, the first week, I had no side effects. No side effects. And I didn't have any side effects really on the branded version. So you can imagine when I moved into the compounded version, I was smooth sailing like, oh, all is well, I'm good. Been through the two versions of how this drug is formulated, and all is well, I'm coming out on the other end quite unscathed. And that was in week 10. Week 11 was a little bit different. Week 11 on the compounded version started to see me going through a little bit of side effects that were, I'm going to say new. New in the sense that I did not have these side effects on the previous dispensation of the drug, which is the branded version. But as soon as I hit week 10, I started to notice some new side effects. Not necessarily new to the space or to the persons who are taking tirzepatide or Mounjaro, but new to me. Now, I need to put my disclaimer out there. I'm not a medical doctor, so what I speak is just for either information purposes or entertainment purposes. And I'm going to keep this light, yeah? Because as I would have mentioned in my other previous videos, the risk associated with taking a GLP-1, be it compounded or not compounded, for me, the side effects they didn't outweigh the complications of diabetes. And I spoke about that in terms of how I felt about the side effects versus the complications. So for me, going through the side effects of um, going on a GLP-1 wasn't anything great for me. Yeah, but certainly the complications of diabetes is not something that I'm willing to negotiate or um, discuss. I much rather experience side effects. So week 10 for me, the side effect that I started to notice was runny nose. No, I don't think I've ever heard anybody within the community speak about having constant running nose, like you constantly have a cold, except the only symptom of the cold that you're experiencing is your nose dripping. I thought at first it was very weird because I said I'm not feeling anything else. I'm not running a fever, I'm not running a headache. This is week 10, right? I'm not running a headache, I'm not running a fever, I'm not coughing, I'm not sniffling, I'm not doing any of those things that would have been associated with having the cold. But my nose was just constantly running. Like every second, I just felt like little droplets of water coming down my nose. And I thought, this is so weird. Maybe it's just this week because I was also doing some traveling. So I thought I was in Fort Lauderdale and we had a cold front. So I thought, okay, maybe I was out in the air for too long and I got this little draft. But it went into week 11 and it is still happening. Then added to the constant droplets of water from the nose, I had severe insomnia. And how I know this was a side effect, because I am somebody that once you put me to bed, I'm put to bed. Mark you, I'll wake up for the usual things, such as to use the restroom or to get some water, or just to check around to see if everything is okay, if the house is still in order, if anything is out of the ordinary. That was not the waking up that was happening. The waking up that was happening was me waking up for the whole night, not sleep, can't go back to sleep, just restless, just a state of continuous restlessness. Still didn't trigger me in any way as to what may be happening. But then I went to my journal. Remember, guys, I keep a tirzepatide journal, particularly for the compounded version of this thing. And I started to look at all the hours that I ticked that I got sleep for. And for the first 2 days, I realized that I registered less than 3 hours of sleep. And I thought to myself, I'm gonna watch this. This has to be something. Now, bearing in mind, we're talking about week 10. Now, for the entire week 10, which is made up of 7 days, all of my dripping nose happened. Then also my sleep was severely impacted. I was getting less than 3 hours a day, a night per sleep. And this happened for the Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, the Thursday, go all the way back from week 10. Then here comes week 11, which also consisted of 7 days of the week. Experienced the same nose dripping and the insomnia got worse. Like I was down to 2 hours of sleep. No, guys, I am thinking this would have severely impacted me the next day. I don't know what is happening, but the lack of sleep has not impacted me in any way, shape, or form. Meaning I wasn't lethargic the next day. I still had energy to function. I still had cognitive functions. So I was like, but I'm not sleeping, but I'm not deprived of anything that comes with lack of sleep. But I knew it was a side effect, so I made note of it. Then the third noted side effect was headaches. No. Went on Mounjaro, 2.5, 4 weeks. Mounjaro, 5 milligram, another 5 weeks, totally 9 weeks. Didn't have a slight bounce of headache. Went into week 10, went into the week 11, nose drip, insomnia, and headache almost every living day. Again, is the side effect of headache, running nose, insomnia something that I should consider giving up a GLP-1 for vis-a-vis the complications of diabetes? Absolutely no. She will take some headache, take two pill. She'll take the insomnia, take two pill, and she will take the runny nose, take two pill with a tissue because she not going blind, lose a limb, or any of the other diabetic complications. Follow me. Now we're in week 12, and today would have been the beginning of week 12. Didn't take my shot today because I took my shot on Saturday, so I did not finish the 7 days with the 5 milligram in my body. I actually went 5 days because on day five, she hunger bad. She was dying of for food. So I didn't bother to try to, you know, make it through to today. I took my shot on Saturday and I'm good again. Meaning the appetite suppression gone from Saturday. Like me couldn't now do without food. Like food was a call my name. Everything had my name on there. Everything had Shelly on there, just wanting to eat. So at this point in time, I said, you know what? Let me take a shot, suppress the appetite, and then figure it out and do a 5 days. So I'm no longer taking my component version for a 7 day period. My dosage is now lasting for 5 days until I can either increase the dose. So I'm doing what they call microdosing, I think it's called. But I'm just letting you know, I'm not going 7 days since week 12. So that has been my week 10, 11, and 12. Now, there was something that is happening as well, and I'm still trying to figure out if it's a side effect. But bloating and just as a sense of uneasiness of my stomach. Like it's not that I didn't feel full. It was more like I felt nervous. You know, like when you're going into an exam and you just feel a very nervous feeling in your stomach, like anxious or anxiety or whatever. That has been happening since week 11 and week 12. Now, again, I don't know what that may be. I don't know if it's a side effect of it that I'm not experiencing in week 12, but certainly it has not in any way caused me to be non-functional in my day-to-day activity. Like I'm not having to stay home or any of those things. I just note it because it's a very weird, nervous feeling. You know, as I said, the only thing I could equate it to is probably you going into an interview for the first time, or you want something really bad like a job, or you're doing an exam and you feel that little butterfly feeling in your stomach. I felt that in this week. I'm gonna watch it into week 13, which is gonna be next week Monday, and see if it goes. But like almost once per day, I get this really weird butterfly feeling, like I'm very nervous, and I don't want to think it's the GLP-1. But if it is, I mean, again, I'll take a pill for it. Something must be there for to calm that nervous feeling that I'm having. So overall, 3 weeks in on the compounded version and another week to go on to taper off a 1 month trial of it. And I don't think I don't think I'm upset about the manner in which this particular version of the drug has treated me. I'm not particularly upset because I did fantastic on the branded version. I got 9 weeks of nothing at all. I mean, save and except for the hair loss that I spoke about, and I think something else, I can't remember, but I'll tell you at some point. This has been the most side effects I've had on a GLP-1 by the compounded version. As again, I tell you, if I'm weighing that with the complications of diabetes, this is a non-issue because everything that I'm experiencing, I can get something over the counter to deal with it. And I do believe as your body acclimatizes to what it is that you're feeling, I do believe they will all go away. And that has been what I've noticed and observed in the stories of other people that have been on it and have experienced side effects as well. So I'm not too concerned at this point in time. Will I continue on the component version? Certainly. Haven't seen anything yet to make me go, So I'll continue on the component version and I'll keep you posted. But I just wanted to drop this one here because, of course, I have to give you my weekly updates on my GLP-1. Now, there's lots happening in the space as always, but today is not that kind of a day. Today, I just wanted to list the side effects on the component version so you know possibly if these things are happening to you as well, you can make note of them and they can be in alignment with what I've been feeling, on these drugs. So that has been it for me. I am down today. I'm at 173. I can't wait to leave the 70s. Hopefully, I'll be doing that by Friday. Hopefully, I can come here next week, Monday, and tell you that I'm 160 something. That will be some awesome sauce sprinkled on top of some really nice jerk chicken. You can say the food now is not help me, right? Because me still a talk about food. But I am anxiously and eagerly waiting the 7.5, guys, because I can feel the suppression waning at the 5 milligram. Like as I said, I have to be taking my next dose at 5 days, and it usually lasts until 7 days. So something is happening with either the compounded version or the dosage. We'll talk about that. But I would like to give a viewer, guys. I'm also tired. I'm just coming off the clock, right? Bear with me too. I'd like to give the viewers contact information for the doctor who prescribed the Mounjaro, the branded version for me, and it is Hope Medical Center. You can look them up on the internet, and you can speak to the doctor and the nurses there. They're very helpful and very patient. They'll walk you through what it is that you need to know in order to be on this medication. And you can tell them that Shelly sent you. Yeah. But that's it for this episode. Thank you guys for joining. Sorry that my energy was a little bit low, not because of the GLP-1, but because I am just heading home. Just got home from, of course, a long, long Monday. So I'll see you next time when I talk about something else. But for now, this is my GLP-1 slash Mounjaro update. And until then, see you next time.